Alright, I'm a little late to the party on this one, but better late than never. If you're new, hello, I'm Peachy, your hooded eye bestie, and if you're returning, well, welcome back to doing makeup but for hooded eyes. Today we are jumping into that viral siren eyes trend, and let me show you how it's done. So I was doing a little scroll on Pinterest and TikTok yesterday, trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my next tutorial. And then it just kind of like dawned on me when I saw these trends going around, the siren eyes, the sleepy eyes, the doe eyes, all of those. I never saw many hooded eye creators doing them. I feel like there's actually not that many hooded eye creators anyway. So maybe we should just revisit all of them. I know this trend is probably like a year old, but I don't think that's any reason to like not do them. I really like how this one turned out. You definitely get that cat eye shape from this, and I feel like everybody who has hooded eyes was convinced that they could not do siren eyes, but you can, and I am living proof. This is a lot easier than it looks. You have to be patient with yourself. Let's jump into the products before we actually get into the tutorial. So this is not the palette that I use. I want to start off talking about this one though, because the ColourPop That's So Taupe palette would be an excellent substitute if you don't have any of the big palettes that I have. This one that ColourPop has is always available, and don't mind the state of my palette here. It's one of my favorite palettes, so this would be an excellent substitute. This Morphe palette was my very first palette I ever bought. It is the 35M Boss Mood palette, and I literally only use this because it's my favorite black eyeshadow out of this. So I don't need to show it to you, but this is what I used for the black shadow. This is one of Morphe's classic palettes, the 35O palette, and I used this because it has so many beautiful browns, light browns, dark browns, shimmers, whatever you can think of. I used a lighter brown and a darker brown out of this palette. Now, if you've watched my last two videos, you already know what I'm going to say about this. This is by Hex Baby Beauty. They kind of specialize in water activated liners, which I have been obsessing over lately. I find them a lot easier to work with than felt tip liners. You can absolutely use felt tip liners for this look. If I was going to pick a felt tip liner, I would probably go with NYX Epic Wear. That's my other favorite liner that's a little bit more available to everyone. Now for brushes, I always end up using like 6 different brushes because I have so many of the same ones and I just pull them out of my little cups over here. But you probably only need about 3 for this look. Now the last thing I use that you're probably not going to have, but I highly recommend these Cryliners, also by Hex Baby Beauty. This is kind of what they're famous for, and I understand why. When I tell you that these are cry proof, I put these in my waterline and it lasts for hours. They're just one of my favorite brands, and I just bought a lot of things from them, and I told them how much I love them, and they were actually going to send me the black Cryliner because it's always sold out, but I did buy the brown one from them, so that's what I used in this look. If I use this and I want it to be black, I'll use this first, and then I'll put black eyeshadow over it, which also works because it's a very dark brown. This is the shade Casket. For all you watery-eyed girlies, this is it. This is it. So I know a lot of you aren't going to have that, which is totally fine, but you are going to need black pencil liner as well for the wing and your waterline as well. And then you can set your waterline with black shadow on top of that pencil liner. It will last a lot longer, but it won't last as long as these Cryliners do. Now, if you want any of these products that I'm talking about, every single one will be listed in the description below along with a link so you can follow right to it and get whatever you want. So grab all the stuff you do have and let's get into the tutorial. So what I've done to prep my lid is I use P. Louise. You can use concealer if you want, but I used that, and then I put some translucent setting powder all over the lid just because I want to keep this base super duper neutral for this, and also to prevent creasing. So on a fluffy brush, I'm just going to take like a light brown taupe color and start on my outer corner here, bring it out to about here. Don't bring it up, just bring it from here straight out. And you could be a little bit messy with this. It doesn't have to be super precise. We're going to be cleaning up the bottom part of this later. I would also suggest you do your base afterwards like me, because you're going to get a lot of fallout from using blacks and brown eyeshadows. So we've chucked that color on there. Now I've cleaned my brush off, and now I'm just going to take that here. I'm going to diffuse this top edge very slightly. Now on a small angled brush, I mixed a black eyeshadow with a dark brown, and we're going to start mapping out our wing shape. We're just going to go from where your outer corner is, literally come straight out, almost in a straight line. Don't go up or down. You want to go as straight as possible outwards. We brought it out here. Again, this can be messy. We're gonna clean it up later. Don't worry about it. Now we're going to start bringing that in just very slightly towards the outer corner. Now, when you're making shapes, you want to look straight on. And then when you're filling in those areas where it didn't catch because of the hood on your eye, then you can lift up and fill in where it skipped. I'm gonna take a clean fluffy brush and just kind of pat this so it's blended. You wanna pat where you place the color. You don't wanna like start going back and forth and start bringing it over here, bringing it up. Just pat in the place where you applied it. Now I'm just gonna take more black and put it right on the bottom here where we're about to put our actual wing, just to darken it up a little bit. Now I'm taking water activated liner on a brush because that's what I like to use. You can use felt tip liner, whatever you have around, and we're gonna start making our wing. And for this, you want to, again, go almost directly out at first. And now what I'm gonna do is just bring this in to connect straight in to the outer corner. And it's okay if you draw right over your crease and you start getting weird shapes. Just fill them in a little bit because we're gonna cover that with eyeshadow anyway, so really it's not a big deal. When you bring the liner in on your lid, we're not gonna be bringing it across like this at all. We're just gonna be bringing it in a little bit before where our shadow is smoked out, so about here. And keep it very, very, very thin, like right on your lash line. Make sure your liner dries down all the way before you start adding eyeshadow. I'm going to take the small angled brush again with some black eyeshadow and just put it right on top of the liner and smoke it out. And don't bring it out too far to the end because we want to kind of keep that clean. Now I'm going to take a wide flat brush. You could use a fluffy brush if you want, but I like the precision of this one a little bit more. I'm just going to blend this out a little bit. Okay, now we can take the clean fluffy brush again and just make sure all of our blend outs are kind of diffused a bit up here, but make sure you're not bringing it up, just keep it on those edges. Now I'm going to use some pencil liner and kind of smudge this out even more. And we're just going right on the top of the wing. And then go on the lash line as well, just so there's no gaps. If you would like, you can take that angle brush and clean it off and just smudge out that pencil liner. Now I'm going to take a Q-tip with some micellar water on it or makeup remover, whatever you have, and just kind of clean up underneath my eye and over here. We want to get this in. You really want to make this as sharp as possible because that's kind of like the whole point. You can add an inner corner wing if you'd like. I'm not going to make a triangle. I'm just going to make a line following my lash line directly out and then make it a little bit thicker on the bottom. Kind of just want like a top wing, inner wing. I don't know, but that's what we're doing. You're going to bring this line to about here where your inner corner is. And the key to doing a good inner corner is to lift. You see where that gap is right there? You kind of want to lift and draw that way. I find that a lot easier just so I know that I'm getting really close to my lash line. Because then when you rest your eye, you can see it's connected. Now I'm going to thicken up this bottom part to make a triangle just slightly, but I'm not like on my tear duct. I'm like slightly above it. I promise this inner corner will look a lot better once we put eyeshadow and liner on our bottom lash line and we put lashes on. It's gonna all come together. So I'm gonna go do my base and then I'll be back. So I've done my base, I've done this other eye, looking good. So now you're gonna take a clean, dry Q-tip, and this is if you want to put product in your waterline. You absolutely don't have to, but I think it really completes this look. I'm gonna dry my waterline off first, and then I'm gonna take some of the brown Cryliner and put it on my waterline, and then cover that with black eyeshadow. Now I brought that across my entire waterline. Now for my tear duct, I'm just gonna connect this inner corner to make it a little bit more cohesive. Now I swear I can only do inner corners and waterlines with this liner because it actually stays. So I'm gonna take some more on a little brush and just connect my waterline again. Now I'm going to take a very small amount of black shadow and go underneath my lashes. Now I'm just gonna throw some mascara on to even add to this cat eye look. I would avoid putting it on the inner corner of your lashes. Try and keep it from the middle going out, and same with your bottom lashes. That first brown that we started with, I'm just gonna take that underneath my lashes to smoke out the bottom even further, just a very, very little amount. Now for the lash, if you want to add falsies, you can. If you don't want to, that's okay too. I have taken a cat eye lash. I will link this specific lash down in the description below, but what I literally did was just cut off like the last two pieces so I can place it just on the outside. I'm just gonna place it right here on the outer corner. I'm gonna go fix my bangs and I will be back. Okay, I know this look is a lot smokier than a lot of the other Siren eyes, but I feel like because of that, that's why it worked out so well for hooded eyes. It's much easier to manipulate eyeshadows when it comes to hooded eyes when you're making eyeliner, I think. And I'm just really happy with how it turned out, honestly. It's definitely like a nighttime look. I think if you took away the smoking out underneath, you could kind of turn it into a daytime look. But then again, I feel like smoking out the bottom lash line just kind of made it, you know what I'm saying? Now, if you liked this and you thought it was helpful, let me know down in the comments if you want me to cover more of the viral like TikTok trends over here on YouTube, because I think it's a lot easier for me to do the tutorials on here so I can explain things to you and you guys can like follow along a lot better and a lot easier. Because I'm kind of thinking of doing doe eyes next, or the sleepy eyes. I feel like the sleepy eyes is kind of similar to this, but a lot lighter, not as dark. But honestly, just leave me a comment down below and let me know. But if you made it to the end of this video, congratulations, you are my favorite. And if you tried this look out on yourself, props to you. I am so proud of you. Now I do shorter form tutorials over on TikTok and Instagram, so make sure you give me a follow there. All my social media is under one link in the description below. And if this video helped you at all and you enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a like, maybe hit subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.